Today on In the Woodyard, you're going to see some logging happening. We got utility poles, log cabin poles, pulp wood, hardwood, all kinds of woods coming out of the woods. We're pulling with an old antique puller here. You can see it's a skidder that's a log skidder, and Kenny fires it up and pulls a bunch of wood out. It's a job that logger Jason's on, and this should be the last day of the job that we're going to be on, and he's going to clean it up. So you're going to get to see a whole bunch of logging happening here. Pretty cool stuff. You get to see old machines and older men logging all day long. Here we go. So I'm at the job, and as you can see, it's soupy. There's a lot of water on the road. It's turning to mush, and it's going to get worse as the day goes on. Right now, it's about 28 degrees here, so it's supposed to get into the upper 30s, close to 40, so it could get pretty bad in here. So I parked out by the road, and I'm just going to walk in. I thought there was no reason for me to drive in and, you know, take up space, because they might have logging trucks coming that I might be in the way, or they might need the room. I know they got a lot of logs. I just talked to the forester. He was on his way out, and he said, yeah, they're filling it up fast. So I figured I'd come in and just walk my way in. It's only, I don't know, half a mile, something like that, if that. And you can see here, it's pretty soupy. And this is going to get worse and worse as the day goes on. It's like this all the way. So no sense driving in and making a big mess. So I'm just going to walk in and see how much they got out. Apparently they got a lot of wood out. Kenny did a whole bunch of runs yesterday with the cable skidder. Apparently did 15 or 20 pulls of 3 logs at a time, the cabin poles and the utility poles. So we're heading in. We're going to see how much they got done. So they got some of the pulp wood over here off to the side, and they got some cedar over there. Over here they got some birch, and then they've got logs up in here that are it's all going to be pulp wood. And then they got bolts over here, and you can see they've got cabin poles and utility poles all lined up. On this side is all utility poles, so they're running out of room fast here, it looks like. It's getting really soupy in here, slimy and snotty. I see the log buyers here. He's got labels on already. See, that's what they do when they mark the logs, so they know which ones are paid for, bought, scaled, whatever. Here they got their skidder. It needs to be unloaded, and yeah, I'm glad I didn't drive in, because if a semi comes in, they're gonna have to probably pull up into there, back into here, and then head out that way. So I would have been in the way. There's really nowhere to park. I mean, they could have stuck it somewhere, I suppose, up over by Jason over, but that's where they're parking their machines too. So there it is. I got logs over here, and I'm gonna head to the back, because that's where they must be, because they're not out here. They must be in the back either cutting or doing some skids. I don't hear any noise. That's usually a bad sign.
They're counting trees. They multiplied.
Oh, they multiplied?
There was only 42 days ago when we cut 20 more. Now there's still 50.
Yeah,
there's about 50 to go.
I didn't hear any noise, so I figured it must be breakdowns.
No, there's been plenty of them.
Yeah.
There's been enough of that garbage. This thing here, the wheel seal is leaking now finally. That good thing you got the seal. I see it just started dripping.
So is it operational now? You got it fixed?
Well, I got a little bit of clutch. I was just barely, but I can get it into gear if I snap her in there. Last drag last night, I lost the clutch.
Yeah. So what's the plan? Cut some more? Looks like you cleaned up a whole bunch. There's really not much underground.
Picked up pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, not bad. I see up front you got a
running out of room.
Yeah, yeah. Log, is a trucker coming today?
Tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. It's supposed to be cold tonight?
Not cold enough.
30s.
Yeah,
just
cold
firm
enough.
everything up enough.
Wonderful sound.
Ain't you got something better to do than watch me work? Jeez.
As long as he pays you, you don't care.
I ain't been paid yet. He's been buying supper and lunch and shit once in a while.
Well, because he's got to keep you working. You run out of energy, you won't work.
You know, what about that sweep? Is that no biggie?
What? What sweep? I see no sweep.
Yeah, it's
Right
got a double sweep.
I mean, is that
What
too
about
much?
Or cabin wood?
What about it?
Is that
Let me
too
see
much
this.
sweep?
Stop me at 12.
I don't have my crayon.
No, stop me at
Oh,
12.
you want 12? Come back. 12 is
12, 4.
12 fours right there. Yeah, that gets rid of the crook, pretty much.
Yeah, take 12, 4 out of it then.
Make a mark. Okay, right there. 12 4. Yeah, that gets rid of most of it quite a bit. And there's just a little bit on the bottom.
And then kind of square that up. You know what I mean?
Pencil it.
Make it pretty.
That's what we do.
Yep.
Get rid of the flare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Kenny, we got a problem. That was on the wrong side of the line.
It's a dot on it.
Just because there's a dot on it doesn't mean that
And the forester just left here said it was good to cut.
It's
so
on the line. Right there's blue.
No,
there's
Right
blue.
there's
the
blue.
line.
There's blue.
There's blue over there, right
No.
by the chainsaw.
Oh yeah. It's kind of
On
a
the
zigzag.
line.
It ain't a straight line, is it? It's a.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
The
but
forester said that one's outside, but he says, "Go ahead."
Yeah.
It would have been gone before he got here, anyways. If I'd have not been skidding. I got to run that broke dick skidder all the time. I got to work on it every
the
5
tree
minutes.
farmer. You gotta have a name for that thing.
That's a popular brand, tree farmer. I
Yeah,
mean,
you
back
gotta,
in the
you gotta
day,
name it. You gotta have a name for it.
it's a C4 tree farmer.
I think it
It's
should
older than me.
it should be called Bony Ass because it's.
Well, you see
It's
what
like
I
a
got
rough
for a
ride.
seat cover. He gave me his chaps to sit on. That's
Is that what
my.
you're sitting on, chaps?
I'm sitting on a pair of chaps because it's a little hard with the plywood ass. So, yeah, it's a gem. I'm going to cut one over there. So
But that's not over 20.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, that shows up a lot better. right here. And look. Put it over here on this. Good deal. Gas. Clean it up. He just wanted me to cut it. He wants to cut a log out of that one. Alright, now we're going to make a drag. Look, for sure they're going to wear when I work for Jason. Starvation wages! Not really. I'm hooked. Whatever. That keeps from popping out.
Yep.
Now, I need to pull this cable out. I'm going to give me some slack, but my feet are real slow. Otherwise, I get a big bird's nest.
Oh.
So just get it back there so we can get one of these hooked in.
Yep, good. I just said to myself, I should put some gloves on.
Yeah, you got wickers in there.
I see that. I found one of them.
Oh, back when I worked in an oil field, a pair of gloves one day, gone, just shredded.
Yeah.
But we had like 1-inch cable.
You lost one. Good.
That's why sometimes it takes so long to make a drag. You got to do this 2 or 3 times sometimes. Guess I got to put a stick in both ends. The kink of the cable will swing around sometimes. All right, start over for the 3rd time. See how many times I got to get on and off, on and off, on and off?
Good for you. Good exercise.
Wore out by the end of the day though. I'm going to leave that extra choker up here so I don't lose it. Sometimes it hooks on a tree or something and it's gone. You get these bigger trees, I only want to pull 2. I'll just throw it back in the truck. So they drag it in the mud. morning I came, they're all full of mud, frozen. I couldn't get them on. I beat on them. All right, now I just got to shove those. Hey, I thought I was going to lift that over, but he can do it to Skidder. You should drive this, it's a joy. That's a lever. Here, forward, reverse, and you got 4 speeds here, but I never get past third, hardly.
Yeah.
This here is high and low, this lever. This is left and right steering. And then the winch controls back here.
Yeah.
Someplace I can't, right here.
Yeah.
And then here's the lever for the winch, and then for the blade up there is down over here. And everything's tight. See how tight it is? It's older than me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get fuel the next round. So we only got a 5-gallon tank. I ran out twice yesterday.
Looks like a thimble tank.
It's a thimble. Yep. One more drag, we gotta get fuel. So I think it's burning over a gallon an hour.
Yeah.
It's just an old Ford. It's a Ford something engine, and it's a little 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
But when you're dragging a drag like we just pull, that's a lot of pull.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am impressed that we're skidding without chains.
Well, you got a solid base. That helps. You still got frost.
Yeah, it ain't mud yet.
No.
But, you know, we had chains on the back here. They lasted half a day.
Yeah.
They fell off. So I thought, well, I'll give it a try. But I try to stay on as much brush as I can, too.
Yeah.
Where I get into trouble with a drag is if I'm trying to climb over something like this and I got a hard drag.
Yeah.
You know, and if I don't have it high enough to clear the stumps.
Right.
But if we can get them 3, would be nice. Bing, bing, bing.
Right in a row. Yeah. I hope so.
Well, they probably all want to go that way, but we're going to wedge them the other way. Yeah, that's where it wants to go, but
Yeah.
Exactly. So for these cabin logs, we cut them as long as we can, up to 52 feet.
Right.
But they got to have a 12-inch top.
Right.
So that's why we're doing all this thinking around here. So yeah, that one got topped. That was cool. So one stick of pulp in there anyways.
Yep. Yep.
So he'll run a 12 or a 16, whatever he's, I don't know what he's...
Here, yeah, he'll cut a 16 probably.
Yeah.
And up there an 8-footer.
Thinking on these bigger trees, we'll only take 2.
Yeah.
That's a big one, especially when they start getting that long. I gotta take it easy on the old girl there.
The old girl.
All I know is my neck is killing me. Just looking up all the time.
Why don't you just lay down and look up for a while? Just lay there
I got
for a while.
biofreeze by the gallon I've been putting in. It doesn't even help anymore. It's beyond biofreeze.
You need to go to a doctor.
Short by about an inch.
Probably.
Usually how it goes.
Well, it looks like you have enough.
Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. get my hands down in there. Ah, there. Pull on each side. Get your hand in there. You just roll it an inch. There. Sometimes you get lucky and you can just... Usually I got to get back in, pull ahead, come back out here, hang these up. Down there.
You're leaking a lot right here.
That's oil. That's for the
really
winch. That's minor. That's like the minorest leak on this thing. Okay. 4 hours and we're out of gas.
Yeah.
So it's burning a little over a gallon an hour.
Yeah.
That's about what I figured yesterday.
And that's not even all run time.
No.
Because you're cutting in between too.
Yeah. That's why I've been shutting it off.
Yeah.
We had to shut it off before because it wouldn't start if you shut it off. But now we finally got it to where the battery's charging. So you had to leave it run.
Yeah.
Now I can shut it off. It's getting better. Pile's starting to look like we did something.
Good.
I'm tired of getting in and out of that thing all the time. It's not easy to get in and out of.
Oh.
And of course these on didn't help. lot of times you can't get under there through the brush and everything. The wrong way, that's why. Ah.
One more. More. You might be able to get it.
So I think what I'm gonna do is I'll drop that one or one of them two. I'm gonna just kind of hook up in there and then drop them. We'll have to pull a cable over there.
Which way are you gonna drop them over that way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll drop it that way.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to crawl over. Well, if that tree wouldn't have been there,
Yeah, you could have went around.
I would have went around and but because without change you can't crawl over these logs. You got to do strategic planning every time you're making a drag.
Well, every time you drop a tree.
Yep.
It's like, what's the... Yeah, because you can bury yourself real fast, real easy.
So he's got two cabin logs, or poles. Yep. One there, one there. So we'll cut another one someplace. And we can bring three out on the next drag.
Right.
After this one. We're slowly whittling on this. I mean...
Yeah.
So I was telling you earlier, I don't know if it was on camera or not.
Yeah.
So we kind of roughly counted yesterday, figure it's 40 trees.
That's what we thought, so 40 something, yeah.
Yeah, about 40. So then I cut like 10 trees last night,
yeah,
and 10 trees this morning,
yeah,
and we counted. We actually walked through and counted,
yeah,
and there's still 50.
Yeah.
So that means there was 70.
Yeah, because you can't, there's hiding behind them and you can't see the marks.
You can't, yeah. And then there's the ones on the line, and there's a bunch back in there yet. 28?
28.
Got plenty.
Yeah.
Oh! Hit you in the nuts.
Nope. I got a cup on.
Yeah. Neat. All right. See how this works out. It's like playing pool or something. You gotta set up your shots. Doesn't always work. I didn't want to wipe this out, but
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
can't save all of them. now. It's going to take it with it. God, it's nice out here. It's just nice just to stand.
Yeah.
It's
nice when there's no wind.
It is just dead calm out here.
You see, it's a little bit of movement in the tree, but it ain't much.
Not much.
It's 80 feet up. There's a little bit of wind, but not down here. So you're going to cut this one first.
I'm going to cut this one.
And then that one?
No, I'm going to take it to that one.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to take it to that one. I'm going to pull this one and them two.
Got it. Okay.
And then the next drag, we'll just guesstimate.
Does he want the utility poles up first? It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. I got more room for the cabin logs right now. You know, where we just been dumping.
Well, there's two right here. There's another one over there.
Well, the utility poles, I'm going to go out past that cedar now.
Okay.
I'm going to start a new pile because we're getting too jammed up.
So you got 3 with dots back here. You got one there and these 2 here. Oh, and there's one back there too. And there's a cluster of 3 over there.
All of that's got to go yet.
4, 5, 6.
We counted. It was almost 50 trees this morning.
Jeez.
I said they must be out here multiplying at night. You can't
I
see
think so.
You think we got her whittled down, and it's like, no, there's more.
There's always more.
Thing is, you know, when he cut some of the hardwood out of here,
then you
couldn't see the markings.
Right.
And once you got everything opened up, it's like, oh, there's some more. Oh, there's some more. There's some more. There's some more.
Yeah. So Kenny was just telling me about his beautiful machine that he's using over there.
It's not my machine. It's Jesus.
Yeah. It's actually doing pretty dang good.
Yeah, I see. Yesterday was the first time I've ever skidded with a pole skidder in my life. I mean, I've run a pole skidder before, but pulling attachments and stuff, not forestry attachments. Yeah. We trenched where I used to work. We planted pine plantations. You pull a trencher behind you.
Right.
So I mean, I've run a skidder before, but never like this antique. It's got 17 levers. You got to remember everything to do.
Yeah, that thing's at least 60 years old.
That's older than me. I don't know. It's old.
Yeah. There's
moss growing on. It's been in the weeds for 2 years. He hasn't run that in 2 years. So
it's doing a job.
I'm getting the kinks out of it.
Yeah, yeah. The only skidding I did is when we were kids, we had a draft horse. We had a Belgium that was like, 2,300 pounds?
It was a big horse, yeah.
Bob.
And Bob was his name, yeah.
And we skidded out. I remember I did quite a bit with Dad.
He wasn't very fast.
No, he was strong. But we did a bunch of jack pine. The guy wanted a jack pine cut out, and we had Bob. We skidded with him.
Dad bought Bob to skid the job, did the job, and sold Bob.
So we had Bob for maybe a year at the most.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
All I remember is riding him. You'd have your toes. You were like you're doing the splits up there. He was so wide.
He was about that wide. I mean, we were little. We were only like 8, 9, 10, 8.
I think I was 10 or 11.
7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I had to ride him a couple times out to the job and back because Dad took the truck and everything. So I'd ride him all the way out to all the way back. All I remember is about every 20 feet. He had gas like you would.
Rudy Cunningham used to say, a farting horse is a working horse.
I know.
All right, I'm going to go grab the saw. We're going to cut this one.
Does that explain you?
I guess so. A working man's a farting man, right?
I guess so. Let's go.
All right. to get that corner done over there. I think we'll go back over there.
After this?
Yeah, the only reason I cut this is because he had these other ones. I was just trying to make a drag.
Right, well, clean it up, yeah.
So... I'm stumbling, tired. Lucky. Look at that. Success! That's the first time I had all three come out. Get back in there, pull ahead, come back. Oh. I'm hungry. out to about 16. Right about there.
There's 16.
That's where the sweet spot.
Yeah. I'll cut a 16. Yeah.
So here it ends today, folks. He broke down with the processor. The computer went out on him. He found one for $10,000, $5,000 to program it. So he's like, well, he says, let's go lay out them logs. He says, I'll pole skid, because I've been pole skidding all day. He got right there and the clutch went out. Or it just needed fluid, what's happened last night. Right. And maybe he's got air in the line and you just got to get some air worked on it. That's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
I've been skidding all day. Jason touched it, boof. He shouldn't touch anything else today. He's having not a good day for luck. That's a nice log.
Yeah.
52 footer. That's a beauty. I think we should leave before somebody goes kamikaze.
Postal.
Did we succeed? Look beautiful.
Yeah.
Under 20 inches, right?
Oh yeah. No problem.
Barely. So yeah, the 16 footer's got to be under 20 inches. Just like a pro.